Good evening. Tonight, Halloween's Eve, Radio Sorts rises from premature burial and presents A Suspenseful Halloween. Tonight, from the comfort of your Zoom chamber, you will enjoy live performances of 2 episodes of Suspense, The Screaming Woman and Ghost Hunt, each dripping with period music and sound effects. From 1940 through 1962, Suspense, radio's outstanding theater of thrills, terrified radio listeners with macabre true crime and supernatural horrors. Our production will be reanimated by the electrifying Radio Sorts players, Alyssa Shea, Aria Braswell, Betsy Herbert, DiFranco, Demree McGhee, Eliot Duhan, Emily Zido, Fionna Farrell, Johnston, Jeremy Eric Tenenbaum, Kelly Ralabate, Lino, and Nick Perilli. We begin tonight with the suspense episode, The Screaming Woman. So now, please mute your microphone, unless you're a member of the Radio Sorts players. Turn your lights down as low as you dare. Put down your phone. Put down your children or parents. Smother all other distractions. Seat yourself close to your glowing radio screen and listen to The Screaming Woman.
And now, tonight's presentation of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. Tonight, the story of a little girl and the terror in a vacant lot. We call it The Screaming Woman. So now, by author Ray Bradbury and starring Demree McGhee, here is tonight's suspense play, The Screaming Woman.
I'm Margaret Leary, and I gotta tell you how it happened. It was Thanksgiving Day, and it was nice and sunshiny. Almost like summer, except cooler. Mama was cooking the turkey, and I was watching, and Mama said to me,
"Oh, good heavens, I forgot. Your Aunt Betty made some cranberry relish for us. Run over and get it, Margaret, so her feelings aren't hurt. And hurry, dear. This turkey's nearly done to a turn."
So I ran to Aunt Betty's, and on the way back, I took a shortcut through old Mr. Carston's lot. It's a big lot, more like the side of a hill, and it slides all the way down to Monument Creek. It's a swell place to play explorer or sailors and pirates because trucks dumps loads of dirt and junk, even big things like old cars and chunks of concrete. Well, I was coming back from Aunt Betty's with a cranberry relish when I saw that a lot of new junk had been dumped there. They'd even covered up a swell big concrete pipe that some of us kids called our fort. They covered it clear up. Well, I was looking around when all of a sudden,
"Help me!"
the voice was coming right up out of the ground.
"Help me! Help me! Help!"
A woman was buried under the junk and dirt and glass, and she was screaming all wild and horrible for someone to dig her out. Well, I started to run. I fell down and got up and ran some more. Mama, Mama!
Margaret, haven't I told you not to slam the door? Oh, is that the relish?
Listen, Mama, there's a screaming woman in a lot.
Wash your hands, Margaret.
She was screaming and screaming and screaming. Mama, Mama, please listen to me. We've got to dig her out. She's buried under tons and tons of dirt.
Well, I'm sure she can wait until after dinner. Honestly, next year, I swear I'm going to buy a bigger platter.
Mama, don't you believe me? You gotta believe me.
Oh, look, honey, I've got a million things to do. Oh, good gosh, look at you. How'd you get your knees so dirty?
Well, running back from the lot,
Well, never mind. Scoot and tell your father we're about to eat. He's in the living room reading the paper.
Yes, Mama. Dad, I've got something to tell you.
I'm sorry, are you getting hungry, baby?
Dad, there's a screaming woman in the lot.
Is that so? Smell that turkey.
We gotta get picks and shovels and dig her up.
Maybe after dinner, hey? Can't think of anything but that turkey. Hey, how about we have an expedition next Sunday and dig her up?
We can't wait that long, Dad. She'll die if we don't do it now. I'll give you my piggy bank.
Oh, so it's a business proposition. Well, how much do you pay by the hour?
I've got $5 whole. It took me a year to save.
Come here, bosoms. You know, I'm really touched.
But Daddy!
You want me to play with you, and you're even willing to pay for my time.
No, that's not it. Please.
What, dear? You're shaking.
Dad, please.
Listen, dear, after dinner, we'll go out together and listen to your screaming woman. How's that?
No, now, Dad. Maybe she'll die if you don't come out now. You've got to come now, please.
Now, Margaret.
If you believe me, you wouldn't wait.
Margaret, listen.
You never believe me. Mama doesn't believe me. Nobody believes me.
Now, Margaret, quiet down this minute or I won't go with you and you'll head right to your room and stay there without your Thanksgiving dinner. Is that clear?
Yes. Yes, sir. It's clear. I always liked Thanksgiving, almost next best to Christmas, but that was an awful one. Dinner was a million years long. Everybody moved like in a slow motion movie. Forks and knives and spoons moved slow, and Dad's mouth moved slow when he chewed.
Margaret, you heard your mother. Don't gobble so fast.
But Dad, the screaming woman, we've got to hurry.
My dear young lady, this is Thanksgiving dinner, the one occasion when we do not hurry. I intend to eat 5 helpings of everything until I can't eat anymore, and then I'm going to make extra effort to find room for some pumpkin pie with walnuts and stuffed dates.
Oh, please, Dad.
Listen, Margaret, if you pester me anymore, if you mention again this screaming woman, I won't go out with you to hear her recital. Now, is that understood?
Yes, sir. Understood. But I wanted to yell, "Get up, come on, run!" But I had to sit still. While out there in the lot, all alone with nobody to hear or help, was the woman. I could hear her in my mind, screaming. Mama and Daddy couldn't hear. They just kept on eating and talking.
Well, now I can be thankful for a full stomach, I guess. We should consider what other things we have to be thankful for.
Well, we're all healthy. Prices are sky high, but we're not in debt quite yet.
And I'm thankful for my big daughter and for my loving wife, who's the most romantic woman I know.
Oh, silly.
I'm thankful I didn't marry somebody else.
You nearly married Dora Bell. You even gave her a ring.
Oh, that never meant anything. No, you only had one serious competitor when we were all kids.
Oh, who?
Helen Nesbitt. Yeah, well, Helen was my first love. When we were about as old as Margaret, I gave her a Christmas present. And she gave me one too. I still have it.
That paperweight on your desk.
Yeah, it's funny how we hang on to things that were important when we were kids.
Dad?
Now, just a little longer, Margaret.
You know what I'm thankful for, dear? That we stayed here in the same town where we grew up. More coffee? The same friends, even the same street. It's been a peaceful life. Not very exciting, but...
Daddy?
Well, Margaret finds it pretty exciting.
Haha.
Oh, Dad, please.
Oh, go on, dear. You'd better take her out to the lot before she collapses.
Okay. Come on, Margaret. Let's go hear this wailing banshee of yours. Now, just where is this screaming woman? Lead me to her.
Over here, where the fort used to be.
The fort?
The big concrete pipe. It's all covered up now.
Old Carson's really letting his lot get filled in. All right. Where's your lady?
Right about here, Dad. Listen.
I don't hear a thing except the wind. You better button your sweater, Margaret.
Shh, listen.
No, that's the trolley over on Aspen Street.
Hey there, screaming woman. Hey.
Well, I'm afraid your screaming woman's let you down.
She was here, Dad, right under where they've dumped all this dirt. I heard her screaming and screaming and screaming, like she was underneath in the fort. Somebody's dumped tons and tons right on top.
Oh, that's too bad they buried your fort, dear. I saw a couple of Carson's big trucks here yesterday and a dump truck this morning.
I don't care about the fort.
Maybe your screaming woman doesn't like grown-ups, only delivers her solo for kids.
No, but maybe she can't scream anymore.
Oh, well, maybe, but I'm going home to take a nap. Let my dinner settle.
Dad, aren't you going to help me dig?
Margaret, don't you think this is sort of a silly game?
It's not a game.
All right, dear, all right. You dig her up, but don't get too messy and don't stay too long. Mama probably would like some help with the dishes.
Dad! I know I heard her scream. I know it. I know it.
Ah, ah,
There. You are. Woman! Hey, screaming woman!
help me!
Well, why didn't you scream before? So Daddy could hear you. I can't help you all by myself.
Ah!
Dad, she's screaming again. Right after you left, she started screaming. You've got to come back.
Oh, there, Margaret. Let me look at you. Come here. You let me feel your head.
Please, Daddy, please.
Why, you've got a fever, Margaret.
Please, Daddy, we can't leave her down there, Dad. Please, Daddy, we can't.
It's okay, Margaret. Come along. You're going to lie down in your room and we'll get you some soup.
No, it's awful, Dad. It's awful. She's screaming and nobody can hear her or help her.
Margaret?
And she'll choke when there isn't any more air, and then she'll die.
Margaret, lie down here. Lie down before you make yourself even sicker.
No, I've got to dig her up. I've got to go back.
Oh, what's all those comic books you've read? Now I forbid you to leave this house. Close your eyes and take a nap like a good little girl.
What am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do?
You are listening to The Screaming Woman, tonight's presentation in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Today begins Red Cross Month, a reminder to all Americans, whether or not you have ever benefited personally from the effective relief and rehabilitation programs of your Red Cross, Your month of March donation to the Red Cross will keep Red Cross activities in progress, but you are urged to take a still more important step in addition. You are urged to be an active member of your local Red Cross chapter. Remember, the Red Cross is people helping people. Join today and serve more effectively to benefit should the need arise.
And now we bring you back to our Hollywood soundstage. Demree McGhee starring in tonight's production of The Screaming Woman, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
But then after a while, I stopped crying. I figured I had to get back to the lot where that woman was screaming, but I was locked in my room. So I tied a sheet to the bed and let it out the window and shinnied down to the ground. Then I ran to the garage and got shovels and ran to the empty lot. The sun was almost down and it was getting cold. I started to dig fast.
Hi, Maggie.
It was Dippy Smith.
Oh, there she
He
is.
was in my grade at school.
What you doing? You digging? What you digging for?
For a screaming woman, she's buried down in the ground and I'm going to dig her up. And you can help dig, Dippy. There's an extra shovel.
Well, I don't hear nothing, and I ain't gonna dig lest I hear her scream.
Well, listen, just listen.
I don't hear nothing.
Just wait. You will. You.
No!
Hey,
There, see? Did you hear that?
gee, that's swell. Do it again.
You what again?
The scream, do it again. I'll give you this marble if you teach me how you do it.
Ah! Ah!
Hot dog. Hey, you got that ventriloquist book from the Magic Company? Yeah, you got one of those things one of those tin things in your mouth?
Sure, yeah. But I won't show you unless you help me dig.
Okay, swell. Give me a shovel. Hot dog. Ugh.
Dippy, you gotta dig fast. Like this.
Ah!
Well, you think she was right under our feet. Oh, you're real good at this, Maggie. Say, what's her name? Made up a name for her?
Oh, sure. Her name's Shirley Miller, and she's a rich old lady who's 120 years old, and she was buried here by a crook named Spike. Now come on, Dippy, dig, dig. Come on, Dippy, keep digging. We can't stop.
Oh, I'm tired. I think I'm gonna go home.
Dippy, listen, there really is a woman buried here.
Oh, sure, you said so, Maggie.
You don't believe me. I wasn't throwing my voice. Cross my heart.
Help! Help me!
Honest, I
Please!
wasn't throwing my voice. I really, truly.
Hey, you couldn't talk and scream together. There really is a woman down there.
That's what I told you.
Please! Please!
Come on, let's dig. How's she breathing, you think?
I think she's in the fort.
Sure, yeah, that's where she is. It's plenty big enough. But better not be a radio or something.
Well, a radio would be nice too.
Hey, you kids! Who are you there?
Oh, hello, Mr. Karsten.
Hello, Mr. Karsten.
I'm tired of chasing you kids out of this lot. If one of you gets hurt, maybe your folks sue me.
But listen, Mr. Carson, listen. There's a woman screaming.
Ah!
You kids beat it, you hear?
But listen, Mr. Karsten, don't you hear her?
Help me, please.
There, hear her?
I don't hear nothing, and neither do you. Now get out of my lot.
Come on, Maggie.
But Mr. Karsten, somebody's got to dig her out.
That's it. I'm gonna phone your folks. This is my property. Do I have to put up a fence? Why should I spend good money to put up a fence? Now stay out of here.
Dippy, it's him. He's the one.
Huh?
He murdered Mrs. Karsten. He hit her on the head and stuck her in the fort and dumped loads of dirt on top. But she wasn't dead. She came to. Why, you saw him. He stood right there when she screamed and he pretended he didn't hear.
Hey, you're right. Geez, maybe you're right. Well, okay, but what do we do, Maggie?
There's only one thing to do. We'll phone the police and tell them to come and arrest Mr. Karsten.
Hey, they sure got here fast, Maggie.
Sound. And stay down. Mr. Karsten might get desperate and shoot or something.
Oh, hello, officer?
You Mr. Karsten?
Yes, sir. Well, what can I do for you?
Is Mrs. Karsten at home this evening?
Why, sure.
May I see her?
Sure. Hey, Anna! What's up?
We got a call that, oh, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening? What is it, officer?
Oh,
Well, I'm sorry, folks. We got a call that Mrs. Karsten was buried alive in an empty lot.
Oh,
Yeah, it sounded like some kid calling, but we had to make sure. We always check these things.
well, I just can't understand it.
It's those blasted kids. If I catch them, I'll break their necks.
Boy, if Karsten telephones my dad, I'll get a licking.
ooh. What do we do about the screaming woman?
Oh, to heck with her. I'm not going near that lot again.
Wait a minute, Dippy. I know why he didn't hear the screams. Mr. Karsten's sort of deaf. Mama says he's hard of hearing.
Well, he heard us, didn't he? He heard the cop.
No, he reads lips. But he couldn't hear the screaming woman because he couldn't see her. Dippy, come on, we gotta go dig some more.
No, sir.
But we got to.
We're already in a pack of trouble because of your old darn screaming woman. I'm not going to get in any more trouble. No, sir. So long, Maggie.
So then Dippy went off and left me all alone. It was dark, and Dad would know I snuck out, and he'd be hunting for me if he found me. I'd get a licking too, and be put to bed, and then nobody would help the screaming woman. There was only one last thing to do. Go all over the neighborhood, from house to house, and find out who was missing. So I rang bells and knocked, but everybody was home. Hello, Mr. Pike. It's Margaret Leary. Say, is anybody missing from your house? Is your sister from Detroit still here? Hello, Mrs. Griswold. You're looking good. I'm glad to see you're at home. I'm awful glad. Good evening, Mr. Hyde. It's Margaret Leary. Yes, I'm out pretty late, but is your wife still here? No, I just wanted to see if you were both here. That's all. The hours were just rolling along, and I was about to give up when I came to the Nesbit's house. The house was quiet, like nobody was home, but I saw a dim, spooky light inside somewhere. So I just kept knocking and knocking until... Ah!
What do you want?
Nothing, Mr. Nesbit. I would just love to have a word with Mrs. Nesbit.
She's not here. She's gone to the store.
The store? Now?
Yeah, the drugstore down on Clark Street.
Oh, then she ought to be back pretty quick. Maybe I can come in and wait.
Hey. Hey, wait a minute.
Maybe I can just sit down here and wait. Boy, I sure do like the rocking chair. Don't mind me, Mr. Nesbit. Go right ahead doing whatever you were doing.
I wasn't doing anything.
Oh, it looks like you were packing or something with all these boxes and trunks around. You're going away?
No, Mrs. Nesbit's been sorting things out, getting rid of a lot of stuff.
Oh, and burning it up in the fireplace?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Dad always burns our junk out in the alley. Cloth smells awful when it burns. I think that maybe...
Hey, kid, look. Helen, she may have gone after the store to visit a friend.
Oh, okay. Well, if she doesn't come soon, I'll leave.
Yeah, that's right. And I'll tell you we're here. What'd you want to see her about?
Oh, nothing much. Hey, that's too bad.
What?
I guess you lost the key to that chest over there. You had to break the lock?
It was broken already. Yeah, I bet your folks don't know where you are.
No, sir. They think I'm in bed. What friend did your wife go visit?
I don't know. I mean, look, kid, I ought to tell you. Mrs. Nesbit, she won't be back tonight.
Oh.
No. She went to the store, like I said, but she's going from over there over to Beechwood to visit her mother. And she'll be gone 2 or 3 days.
Oh, that's a shame.
Why?
Mama said Mrs. Nesbit was coming over tomorrow, maybe to sew.
Well, you better not tell your mother. You see, it's kind of a secret about Helen going away. She doesn't want people to know for a while.
Oh.
Yeah. You know how to keep a secret, kid?
I guess so.
I'll give you something for not telling. I'll give you a reward. Now let's see here. Here's something for a little kid. A doll.
A doll?
Yeah, you know Helen was gonna give it to you. I heard her say when she was sorting this stuff, she said, "I'll give this to the little Leary girl."
That's funny. Mrs. Nesbit always calls me Margaret.
Yeah, that's what she said. Margaret. Here, see, it's a great old doll. Old-fashioned, made of china or something, and real lace. See?
Uh-huh. Well, thank you, Mr. Nesbit.
Now, it's a reward for not saying anything about Helen being gone, you understand? Now come on, I'll snap on the porch light.
Mr. Nesbit, did you finish your driveway?
What do you mean?
Did you get all the dirt hauled off to make it smooth?
Sure. Yeah, now come on.
Mr. Nesbit, I think I saw your dump truck in the lot this morning.
What do you mean? You were in the lot this morning?
No, I was home, but I looked out my window. Ow! Please, Mr. Nesbit, let go of my arm!
You were playing in the lot today? Answer me.
Don't! That hurts! I wasn't playing there! It's no fun with the fort covered up!
Fort? What fort?
No, ow! Nothing, Mr. Nesbit!
So you do know. And that's why you came here? What did you see? What do you know?
Nothing. I don't know. Let me go, Mr. Nesbit. If you don't let me go, I'll...
Hey, come back. Come back, kid. I'll give you something else. Whatever you want. Come back, please. Please.
Mr. Nesbit yelled because I bit his hand and kicked his leg. Then I ran and I heard him chasing after me. It was dark and scary on the street, and more scary out there in the lot, because I had to run straight across the place where I'd heard the screaming. And it was so quiet and dark, and all of a sudden there was a man right in front of me. No, no, no.
Margaret, stop.
Dad? Oh, Dad!
Margaret, where have you been? Do you know how late it is? Do you have any idea how worried we've been?
Dad, he's after me, Mr. Nesbit.
We've been up and down alleys, clear down to Clark Street. I was about to call the police.
The screaming woman, it's Mrs. Nesbit who's down there.
I'm going to give you a good licking.
Mr. Nesbit killed her, and now he wants to kill me.
I've had all of this. I've had all the idiotic talk I can stand.
It's true. He said she's gone away and he was burning her things. You've got to believe me.
Margaret, enough. Now, stop it right there. And just... Wait, what have you got there? Is that a doll? Where did you get that?
Mr. Nesbit.
Why, I gave it to her, Leary.
Oh!
Your kids stopped by the house, and I remembered Helen said she wanted to throw that doll away, so I...
Helen said she was going to throw that away?
He's lying, Dad. He gave it to me so I wouldn't tell about her. It was locked up in a box. He didn't have the key. He broke it open.
She's a high-strung kid, Leary. Why, all the stuff she was telling me?
He's lying, Dad.
Yes, Margaret, he is lying. Why are you lying, Charlie?
Lying? How do you get that, Leary?
Helen never let you have that doll. It was locked up. Helen was going to give it to Margaret on her birthday. She told me so. It was a present I gave her a long time ago. She wouldn't have thrown it away any more than I'd thrown away the paperweight she gave me. Why are you lying, Charlie?
I'm not. Don't look at me like that, Leary. As God is my witness.
Please.
Dad, it's the screaming woman.
As God is your witness, Nesbit?
No, Leary, stop. No, don't. No, please.
Margaret, run to the house, phone the police, and tell them to hurry. Tell them we've got to dig.
Hello?
Hi, Dippy. Everything's fine now. Everything worked out keen. The screaming woman isn't screaming anymore. They got a lot of people down there and they dug Mrs. Nesbit right up.
Hey, that's swell. Hot dog.
And you know what else? They uncovered our fort. Now we'll all be able to play in it again. Oh, Dippy, wasn't it a keen Thanksgiving?
Suspense. Tonight's production of The Screaming Woman was written by Ray Bradbury. Next week, the story of a man who tries to escape his past, but is faced with no future. We call it Nobody Ever Quits. That's next week on Suspense. Suspense is produced and adapted by Jeremy Eric Tenenbaum and Aria Braswell. The music was composed by Lucian Morwick and conducted by Wilbur Hatch, with sound by Jeremy Eric Tenenbaum. Featured in the cast were Demree McGhee as Margaret Leary, Iris Johnston as the Screaming Woman, Kelly Ralabate as Margaret's mother, Eliot Duhan as Margaret's father, Fionna Farrell as Dippy, Lino as Mr. Carston, Betsy Herbert as Mrs. Carston, Daniel DiFranco as the police officer, and Nick Perilli as Mr. Nesbitt. Your Red Cross representative was Emily Zido, and I'm your announcer, Alyssa Shea. Join the FBI in Peace and War Wednesday nights on the CBS Radio Network.
You have been listening to A Suspense-Full Halloween, presented by Radio Sorts, a side gig of Sorts Literary Art Magazine. Sorts is an online spinning collection of stories, poems, songs, and illustrations to help while away the wintry June nights. Sorts is published quarterly and accepts submissions throughout the year. Each issue is its own creature. We publish both the sufficiently strange and insufficiently boring. We also host online readings, Radio Sorts performances, and other beloved gimmicks as they occur to us. Everything is conveniently found at sorts.co. That's SORTES.co. Tonight's entertainment, like every online issue, is brought to you magically free, and we're committed to keeping Sorts free of cost and advertising, but we need your help. Please consider becoming a Sorts subscriber through Patreon for only $2, $4, or $6 a month. To thank you, we will repay you with beautiful loot, physical publications, and unusual special offers. Just click the subscribe tab at sorts.co. Also, we're gobsmacked to announce the publication of the Sorts Spectral Winter Annual 2023, a beautiful physical publication that collects a tremendous selection of specially commissioned ghost stories and poetry, perfect for wintry terror and holiday gift giving. Buy it at the shop tab at sorts.co. And now, we return to our Radio Sorts theater for tonight's Suspenseful Halloween. We present the suspense episode, Ghost Hunt.
And now, Autolite and its 60,000 dealers and service stations present radio's outstanding theater of thrills. Suspense! Tonight, Autolite brings you Ghost Hunt, the story of a house known as the Death Trap and the people it ensnared. And now, our suspense play, Ghost Hunt.
I can give you anything but love.
Yeah, didn't that leave you high, huh? Left me feeling treetop tall. That was Louis Armstrong's I Can't Give You Anything But Love. And that's all for the Hot and Mellow Hour tonight. Yes, this is Smiley Smith, your favorite disc jockey, I hope, here at the Hot and Mellow Hour, home for the season. I'll be back again tomorrow night, minus the music, but with a little surprise for you. Tomorrow night, Friday night, is the night before Halloween. And that's stunt night here at station WXP. And have I got a stunt for you? Soon as I leave the studio tonight, know where I'm headed? Your friend Smiley is going to spend the night in a haunted house on a ghostly hunt. You heard me, a real ghost hunt in a bona fide haunted house. I'm bringing my little portable recorder along, and if you tune in tomorrow evening at this time, we'll broadcast my adventure, and you'll learn what it's like to spend a night in a real haunted house. Ain't that something? A haunted house. No kidding. You folks know why it's haunted? Because 4 people are known to have committed suicide there. So tune in tomorrow night and share a real thrill with your old pal Smiley. I must be Crazy Smith. Good night.
You care for a cigar, Mr. Thorpe? I've got some cigars in the glove compartment.
No.
Well, look, there's no reason to carry a chip on your shoulder, Mr. Thorpe.
Oh, really? Well, I don't like this fool stunt.
Well, I don't see it as a full stunt at all. I really don't. In fact, I think it's the only way you're going to unload this house. Ordinary selling methods aren't working for a case like this. Now, don't forget the reputation saddling this house. 4 suicides since 1939. You know what people call it? The death trap.
Yes, it's a lot of nonsense.
Well, sure, but try to convince people of that. Anyway, when this disc jockey offered me the chance to kill those rumors about the property, I jumped and took him up on it, especially since it doesn't cost us a cent.
You sure about that? I'm not liable for a penny.
Not a cent. We're doing him a favor, letting him use the place. Thanked me last time when I drove him out here. One hand washes the other, you know? He gets a chance to pull off the stunt. The recording is going to prove to people the property is A-OK, and we increase the chance of selling the place.
Well, as long as it doesn't cost me anything.
Nah, not a thing. He used his own portable recorder. I was paying for the rental of a couple of walkie-talkies he hooked up for it.
Well, what about this? A Reed guy. Did he charge anything?
Oh, no. He's working gratis, too. Dr. Reed is a psychic investigator. He belongs to a couple of societies that do nothing but hunt ghosts. He showed me the article he'd written about it in some magazines. Well, here's the house. It looks real nice in the morning, sunshine, don't it? Man, smell that sea breeze.
You don't have to sell me. Well, let them know we're here.
Probably asleep. Probably up all night recording.
Well, why don't they come out? You think they've gone?
Gone? No, I told them I'd pick them up right around 11. Hey, Smith, Smiley, Dr. Reed? Yeah, fast asleep, I guess. We better go up and wake him.
They may have taken the bus back to town.
No, it's a 2-mile hike back to the main highway. Smiley, where are you guys? Wake up.
You don't suppose.
What? Oh, no. No, Smith? Reed?
What's that clicking noise from in there?
Why look, it's his recorder. And he left it recording right here. It's out of tape. It's still spinning. See, that proves he's here. He wouldn't just leave it. These machines cost a lot of money.
Well, where is he then? And where's this Reed?
Must be upstairs. Smith? Reed? Hey, anybody here?
Well, they must have walked to the highway and taken the bus.
But he wouldn't leave it. He wouldn't have left this machine.
Well, where are they then? Where are they?
Don't get excited, Mr. Thorpe.
Don't tell me not to get excited. If something's happened to them in this house, then I'm liable.
Smiley? Oh, Mr. Thorpe, come here quickly. It's Reed, Dr. Reed. No, don't touch him, Mr. Thorpe. You get your hands all
Blood. That's blood. Is he dead?
No, I can still feel his pulse, but we better get him to a hospital fast. Try to relax, Mr. Thorpe. The nurse said Reed would probably be all right as soon as he had a blood transfusion.
You told the radio station to call us here at the hospital soon as they had any word about Smith, right?
Oh yes, I told them. Why don't you sit down?
Oh, I can't. What do you think happened out here last night?
Well, we're about to know more than just a second since I get this recorder set up. We shouldn't be disturbed while we're listening in this private waiting room.
You don't suppose Smith and Reed got into a fight, do you?
Now, there we go. A fight? I don't know. Hang on now.
Well, what's wrong? Won't it work?
Yeah, it works. It takes a minute. Take it easy.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2. Okay, all set. Here we go. This is Smiley Smith speaking. Smiley Smith, the ghost hunter. Friends listening at home, I don't know whether I hope this will turn out to be a success for the sake of the program or a failure for my own sake. Anyway, it's around 11 p.m. now, and all the preparations have been made. So now it's up to the spooks. I better start by telling you where we are. Right now, your friend Smiley is standing on the lawn of a house about 12 miles above Malibu Beach. The ocean is 100 feet away and straight down. That's right, this house is perched on a cliff, and there's a sheer drop of about 100 feet, right down to the old Pacific. Maybe you can hear the surf pounding. Here, listen. Hey, hear that? I'm going to introduce you to two gentlemen who are here with me. Incidentally, we're the only people around for miles and miles. First, I'd like you to meet Dr. Clarence Reed of the British and American Psychical Research Guild. Get that! Dr. Reed is a famous investigator of psychic phenomena, and I'm very honored to be associated with him on this ghost hunt. Folks, Dr. Reed is smiling in an embarrassed sort of way.
Well, you're much too kind, Mr. Smith.
Dr. Reed has conducted experiments in this field with such great believers in spiritualism as Oliver Lodge and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. He looks a bit like Santa Claus. He's short, stocky. You don't object to my characterization, do you, Dr. Reed?
No, indeed.
And he even has a magnificent white beard. Dr. Reed is so enthusiastic about ghost hunting that he got out of a sick bed this evening to be with us.
Excuse me. It's my lungs. I was gassed in the First World War.
Yeah? Well, anyway, Dr. Reed and I are here on the lawn looking at this house. Though we can't see much tonight. Seems to be a rambling sort of house, 2 stories high, all unlit. Since it was built, there have been 4 suicides here. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
No, Mr. McDonald, please speak into the mic.
No, yes, sorry, that's correct. 4 suicides since 1939.
I better tell our listeners who you are so they won't think you're a ghost, eh? Standing with Dr. Reed and myself is Mr. Charles McDonald, a real estate agent. He handles his property, and he can tell you a lot more about it than I can.
Well, yes, excuse me. Well, yes, the house was built in 1939 by a man named Toby Martin, but he built the house as a wedding present for his wife. But merely a month after he moved in, she took her own life by jumping down that cliff right there and into the ocean. Then, on the day of her funeral, Martin took his life the very same way. And then there have been 2 others since then, 2 other cases, and
They all jumped into the ocean. That's true.
Yeah, well, yes, all 4 of them all jumped into the ocean right over there. The last one was actually seen doing it about 3 years ago. That was, he was seen running like all get out towards the edge of the cliff, just laughing and shouting and yelling as though there were other people running there right alongside of him.
You're kidding.
No, it's an observed fact. He was laughing and yelling and running when he got to the edge. Right there, he jumped. Never came above water. He was never seen again.
Well, that's as good an argument against cold baths as I've ever heard.
Yes. Well, since then, people refuse to live in this house. Silly, I call it. And if you and Dr. Reed find any sign of a spook, I'll ask the owner to pull the house down and rebuild. But if you don't find anything, I'm hoping this will convince folks that here's a real steal to be had. Well, okay, Mr. Smith, you and your doctor are on your own, and I'll be by in the morning to pick you up around 11.
Well, thanks, Mr. McDonald. Goodbye. Hopefully just for the night. I sure hope there's something left for you to pick up in the morning. Well, folks, it's almost pitch black out here. I guess Dr. Reed and I ought to begin. I don't believe in ghosts. Never have. But what I say is this. If you're dead set on looking for them, this is a dandy place to do it. So long. Mr. McDonald just checked out. And then there were two. Well, three, that is. Folks, with us tonight is my little dog, Jeff. Jeff's a wire-haired terrier, just 3 years old. You know what? He can talk. Say hello, Jeff. Come on, Jeff. Say hello to the folks at home. Jeff. Well, anyway, Jeff's a wire-haired terrier, and he's 3 years old. So, Dr. Reed, should we go inside now?
I was just about to suggest it.
Autolite is bringing you Ghost Hunt in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Dear mystical fortune teller, how about showing me what's in store for automobile spark plugs for 1950? Sort of a sneak preview?
Nuh-uh, Mr. Wilcox. Wouldn't be fair.
Aw, look, I only want to learn about the new Autolite resistor spark plugs. You know, millions and millions have been sold to date.
Well, I guess I can go that far. Now let's see. My crystal ball says the roads will be rippling with motorists made merry by the bountiful benefits of the latest Autolite resistor spark plugs. The smoother engine idle, the better performance on liter gas measures, the gas savings. Autos will get 200% longer electrode life from Autolite resistor spark plugs and reduce spark plug interference with radio and television reception built right into every Autolite resistor spark plug.
Wow, that means happier driving for motorists who use Autolite resistor spark plugs to have a brighter, zippier future. Because you're always right with Autolite.
And now we return to our Hollywood soundstage for Ghost Hunt, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Well, folks, now we're approaching the house known as the Death Trap because of its pretty gruesome history. Now, Dr. Reed, as an expert in psychical phenomena, can you tell us how we will hunt ghosts? Just how do we do it, huh?
Oh, we don't really hunt them. If there should be any in the house, they will come to us.
Well, how convenient.
And please, not ghosts. Don't refer to them as ghosts. We know them as spirits or apparitions.
Apparitions. Got it. I'll remember that. I've no desire to hurt their feelings. Where ghosts are concerned, I say, live and let live. Get it? Well, folks, we've opened the front door now. Maybe you heard the hinge squeak a little. Now we're standing here looking inside the unlit house. Can't see much, naturally. Smells sort of musty and damp. What's the matter, Jeff? What's the matter, boy? Hey, oh, come on now, come on. Folks, my dog seems to object to entering this house. He has all 4 feet braced and he's straining against the leash.
Perhaps he senses something we don't.
Like apparitions, maybe?
Yes, that's not unusual. Animals lack the veneer of sophistication we humans possess. They are more sensitive to such emanations.
Yeah, well, we're all going inside. Jeff, quit the nonsense. He probably just smells a mouse or a rat or something. Come on, Jeff. We're going on whether you like it or not. Folks, we're in a short entrance hall, and over at one end is a flight of stairs leading to the second floor. Jeff, quit it! And over here to our left is what seems to be a large reception room. We're entering this large room now. There are French windows over there, and through them I can see the ocean. The electricity hasn't been turned on, so all we have to see by is my trusty flashlight. Not a very powerful one at that. Dr. Reed is now adjusting his walkie-talkie. Oh, I should mention, Dr. Reed's walkie-talkie will transmit to this recorder, so he can cut in while wandering around the house. Pretty neat, huh? Now, Dr. Reed, give a few words for our listeners before you set forth upon your investigation through the house.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Smith has introduced me as a hunter of apparitions. He spoke, I think, in a spirit of skepticism and levity. I'd like to assure you all that my purpose here is serious enough. I have spent my entire career seeking reliable proof of the appearance of apparitions.
But Dr. Reed, have you ever seen any? Ever, really?
I have seen phenomena which lead me to believe in the possibility of their existence. Although I admit, quite frankly, I have never observed directly any spectral emanations. Still, I consider myself quite sensitive to the evidence of their existence. This house, for example, affects me profoundly. I may say, Mr. Smith, it doesn't seem to affect you in the same way.
Well, I'm not overly keen about all of this, if that's what you mean.
You are not psychic, and therefore you are not sensitive to these matters as I am. I imagine the question that is in the minds of your listeners is, shall we tonight discover evidence of apparitions? I don't know. But I feel that they are here, and that they are malignant. I sense danger. Perhaps we shall know for certain soon.
So that's that. Dr. Reed's leaving the room now and starting to make a tour of the house. Moving upstairs to start his investigations. Me? Go and explore around down here, starting with this front room. First thing I'm going to do is open these windows and let in some fresh air. Ah, feels better already. Cooler anyway. Nice and crisp tonight. Just like the... What was that? Something just... A bat. I think a bat. Not a bird. A bat probably just flew into the room. I didn't actually see it. Just felt it against my face as it flew in. Must be someone that was... There it is again. I felt it again. Jeff! Jeff! Come back in here! Jeff, you idiot dog! It was Justin! Come back in here! Hey! Wait! Hey, Dr. Reed! Dr. Reed, can you hear me?
Reed speaking. What is it, Smith?
Jeff has run off. My dog, Jeff. He jumped through the window and ran off outside.
Well, so I told you he sensed something about this house, didn't I?
Yeah, but you want me to come back down? Maybe you could see what set him off? I think I may have felt something.
Soon, Smith. I'm making my way slowly up the stairs, over to the second floor. I'm halfway up. I'll be back down with you soon.
Well, folks, my dog's run away. You probably heard him howling. He jumped out through the window and took off. Never did anything like that before. Frightened by the bat, I guess. Personally, alone here in this big room, I can understand how he must have felt. This isn't a cheerful spot by any means. I may not be psychic, but I sure have some feeling this house doesn't want us here. I guess I should start exploring around this floor soon.
It's Reed. I have something of great interest to report. I am now standing in an alcove on the second floor, trying to recover my breath. As I reached the head of the stairs, I felt what I think is a definite psychic manifestation. I felt suddenly as though I had been punched in the solar plexus. That's the only way I can describe it. At the same time, I began to perspire. Now my head is still swimming slightly. I have difficulty swallowing. My pulse rate is around 120 at the moment. But the sense of evil is very strong. I feel very, what shall I say, very profoundly depressed.
Reed, you want me to come up there?
No, I prefer to remain up here alone. The presence of a disbeliever such as you might interfere with my investigation.
Well, folks, I'd like to give you a picture of what it's like here. Very quiet, for one thing. I've never been in such a quiet place before. It's awfully dark, no light except for my flashlight. Tell you what, you at home, shut off all your lights. About it. Go ahead now, folks. Click off all your lights. Make sure no light is coming from anywhere. And now you might have a pretty good feeling of just how it is here. So dark, so silent. Go on, folks, put your lights and you'll... Hey, hey, did you hear that? That real estate agent told me I'd probably hear rats and mice in the walls. Well, I can certainly hear them now. Even you at home probably heard them. It's as though...
Smith, it's Reed. I'm still upstairs, and I've been working my way towards the front room, the one directly above the one you're in. And as I've walked, the vibrations have become stronger, more and more pronounced as I approach. I am approaching something. Smith, I think I am on the verge of an important discovery.
An important discovery? Did you hear that, folks? Now I can hear Dr. Reed moving about in the room up above me. Folks, I don't suppose you can. Maybe you can hear him up there. I hope that's him. I also hope he finishes his investigation soon because, quite frankly, I'd like to get out of here. I can really imagine people becoming unhinged in this place. Right now, I find myself pretty jumpy. Not being very brave, am I, folks? It's being alone in this room down here that does it. It's a darned old house. I mean, you know, the atmosphere is... It's so very...
Smith! I only wish to make this hurried report before continuing with the investigation. I have carefully sounded out all the parts of this room, and the emanations are most strong from what appears to be a closet, before which I am now standing. As soon as I open the door to this closet, I will have, I believe, something of great interest to communicate. I find no key to the lock, so I will attempt to remove the hinges with my penknife. And I will tell you what I find when I open it.
Folks, I'll tell you what it would cost to get me to open that door. Why in the basement of Fort... Oh, there's that bat again. It seems to want me the way it keeps... Each time it passes, it touches my face or my neck with its wings. Awful things, bats. I want to get away, bat, get away. Folks, this bat'll be the death of me. Bat'll be the death of me, death of me, death of me. Bat'll be the death of me. Something. No, that isn't the way it goes. Merrily we roll along, roll over the dark blue sea. Boy, I haven't thought of that song since I was in school. just a kid. Gee, I had a lonely childhood when you come right down to it. I mean, oh, sorry, folks. That's my business, isn't it? Yes, it is. Certainly is.
Smith, I have succeeded in removing the hinges from the door, and I find that it is not a closet, but much larger. It is, I think, a dressing room. I have not yet been inside, but I am about to enter.
Yeah, folks, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, bats. The bat flying back and forth in this room. Oh, did you hear that? Did you hear it? Reed must have knocked something over. A chair, huh? Yeah, a chair. Heavy chair by the sound of it. The chair, whatever it was, must have fallen right above me. That's the way it sounded, at least. Why, I'm looking at the ceiling and it's real dark, but I can just make out a small stain forming right there, right over my head. Something ran across my foot. A rat, I think it was. I hate rats. Always hated rats. Most people do, of course, but that stain up there, it bothers me. It's gotten so big so quickly. I think I'll take a chance and bother Reed and ask him what it is. Reed! Dr. Reed, can you hear me? Reed, you all right up there? Hey, Reed? Hello? Hello? Well, folks, Dr. Reed isn't answering, but, I think he's just a little deaf. That's what I think. What do you suppose he's found up there, huh? I'm afraid this is rather dull for you listeners. There! I heard him cough. Did you hear that cough? That's him. I hope he's all right. He got out of a sick bed just to come here this evening. Did he say he was gassed during the war? And, this place is it's starting to get on my nerves just a little bit, just teensy weensy. Hello? Reed, Dr. Reed. He's not answering. It's a real bad cough he's got up there all alone. While I'm down here also all alone. So lonely. But I've always been so alone. So much of my life. I mean, not now, not so much now. Sure, of course, but when I was younger, I was alone so much. Just struggling to get ahead. So poor. Live with my folks in a tiny room, wondering where my next meal is coming from. It seems sad. Young people having to spend so much time alone. Sad for old people too, of course. I'm saying of course a lot. Of course I am. Hey, that stain on the ceiling, it's grown amazingly. It's actually beginning to drip. Oh God, it looks like it's gonna start dripping down soon. And it's an odd shape, that stain, like a body with its arms stretched out. Well, that's cheerful. That's a cheerful thought. Folks, this place is really crumbling. I'll certainly advise McDonald to have this place torn down. Yes, sir. Why, I think I'll go upstairs in a minute or two to see how Dr. Reed is making out. I really believe I go completely crazy if I just stay here much longer. Wears you down. That's exactly what it does. It wears you down. It's so musty in here. I feel sort of trapped. Don't know why I said that. Hey, right there. That's what they call this place. The death trap. The death trap there. What did I tell you? That stain. It has started to drip. Drip. Drop. Drip. Drop. Drip, drop. Drip. Drop. Drip, drop. I think I'll try to catch the next drip drop in my hand. Then I can let you know if I'm going upstairs now, folks. My portable recorder and flashlight up. I'm afraid something has happened to Dr. Reed. I'm not kidding now, folks. I mean, this is on the level. Which room? Right? Left? No. Here. This is it, I think. Oh, well now. Evening, gentlemen. Oh, and ma'am, good evening. I'm so glad to see you here. You know, I was aching to see somebody. I was downstairs and I was really so lonely down there, of course. But now, please tell me, have you seen Dr. Reed? You know, I had the idea he could have been hurt. See, look at my hand. What do you think that is, huh? And it came down from the ceiling, drip drop, and pardon me, gentlemen, please, pardon me. Well, if this isn't the funniest darn thing. you know, that can't be Dr. Reed lying there. He doesn't have a red beard. It's a white beard. Hey, don't crowd me so much, gentlemen. Don't crowd me, please. You want me to go where with you? You want me to do what? Say, speak up, gentlemen. Oh, to the cliffs. Down to the cliffs. You mean right now? Well, all right. If you come with me, I mean, I don't want to go alone. No, sir. I don't want to be alone anymore. So you will come with me. What? All of you? All four of you? You too, ma'am? Good. Well, then, to the cliffs. To the cliffs. Let's all go to the cliffs. To the cliffs. Let's all go.
He jumped over the cliff. He jumped over the cliff, McDonald. He jumped over the cliff.
Mr. McDonald, Mr. Thorpe, you may come in and see Dr. Reed now.
What?
Dr. Reed is conscious. You may see him now.
Is he able to talk?
Just for a few minutes. In here, please.
Come in, gentlemen.
How are you, Dr. Reed?
Hey, Smooch.
We've been waiting to see you.
Yes, I must apologize, gentlemen. Last night I had a most unfortunate accident. A hemorrhage.
A hemorrhage?
Yes, my lungs. Now, gentlemen.
Hemorrhage? Dr. Reed, what happened in that house? What happened to Smith? We've been listening to the playback of the recordings you made out there.
Smith? Isn't he with you?
Over the cliff. Into the ocean.
What? Smith? Jumped?
Yes, into the ocean.
Oh.
Right there, boy.
Oh, that poor boy.
Dr. Reed, will you please tell us what happened? From what we heard on the recording, Smith seems to have encountered something in that house. Something like ghosts.
Ghosts? Why, I didn't encounter any ghosts.
But Smith, what about him?
If he went over the cliff, it was fear that drove him over.
But...
Gentlemen, I did not see any ghosts. And as for that unfortunate young man, who can say what he saw? Or thought he saw?
Suspense. Autolite has brought you Ghost Hunt, produced and adapted by Jeremy Eric Tenenbaum and Aria Braswell. The music was composed by Lucian Morwick and conducted by Wilbur Hatch, with sound by Jeremy Eric Tenenbaum. Featured in the cast were Daniel DiFranco as Smiley Smith, Lino as Dr. Reed, Eliot Duhan as Mr. McDonald, Nick Perilli as Mr. Thorpe, and Betsy Herbert as the nurse. For Autolite, Kelly Ralabate was the fortune teller, and Fionna Farrell was Wilcox. I'm your announcer, Emily Zido.
You have been listening to A Suspenseful Halloween, presented by the unearthly talented Radio Sorts players. The Radio Sorts players are, once more, Alyssa Shea, Betsy Herbert, Daniel DiFranco, Demree McGhee, Eliot Duhan, Emily Zido, Fionna Farrell, Iris Johnston, Kelly Ralabate, Lino, and Nick Perilli. Adaptions by Aria Braswell and Jeremy Eric Tenenbaum. Direction and sound by Jeremy Eric Tenenbaum. And thank you to Kelly Ralabate for tonight's spooky playlist, the link to which we're placing into the chat. The theater lights are now raised. Please unmute yourselves and give tremendous applause to our Radio Sorts players.
Yay!
We conclude with these commercial announcements. A recording of tonight's performances will soon be available at Sorts' YouTube channel, youtube.com/Sorts Magazine. Please consider becoming a Sorts subscriber through Patreon for only $2, $4, or $6 a month. Just click the subscribe tab at sorts.co. We've just published the Sorts Spectral Winter Annual 2023, a beautiful small book of ghost stories and poetry. In addition, copies of our Sorts Sampler 2 are still available. Buy either at the shop tab at sorts.co. This Saturday, November 4th, meets the Sorts editors at Weirdo Fest in Kensington, Philadelphia, where we will be selling our books and doing live old-time radio performances of 5-minute mystery.
Vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
More information at weirdofest.com. The Sorts 15 issue is currently available at sorts.co, and our December 2023 issue is galloping unnervingly closer. To learn about all of our publications and events, sign up for our mailing list at the contact link at sorts.co. Lastly, if you're a writer, poet, musician, entertainer, or interesting person, please consider contributing to Sorts. Thank you all for sacrificing a portion of your Sunday night. Good night and good luck. Once more, the Radio Sorts players. Good night, everybody. Everyone, we're officially off the air.
Devil's wife, the old mad witch, and she's a riding me. I felt a bit surge in my mouth, and froth from it did flow. The lather across my sweated back was white as any snow. Devil's wife, the old mad witch, she used to ride a broom. Now every night she leaves the earth and rides me to the moon. Devil's wife, the old mad witch, and she's a riding me. There she makes the devil's sign, waves her magic wand. He throws open fiery gates and tells her to ride on. Saw the burning brimstone, saw the fiery cave. Every soul that burns therein was branded a devil's slave. The devil's wife, the old mad witch, and she's a riding me. We headed back to earth again, these words I heard her say. Your soul belongs to the devil, man, you can never change your way. Saw the burning brimstone, saw the fiery cave. Know that I'm the devil's wife, and I'll ride you to your grave. The devil's wife, the old mad witch, and she's a riding me. felt a bit surge in my mouth, and froth from it did flow. The lather across my sweated back was white as any snow. The devil's wife, the old mad witch, she used to ride a broom. Now every night she leaves the earth and rides me to the moon. The devil's wife, the old mad witch, and she's a riding me. We headed back to earth again, these words I heard her say. Your soul belongs to the devil, man, you can never change your ways. You saw the burning brimstone, saw the fiery cave. You know that I'm the devil's wife, and I'll ride you to your grave. The devil's wife, the old mad witch, and she's a riding me. The devil's wife, the old mad witch, and she's a riding me.